Can the Arizona State Sun Devils even pull off a win against UCLA? They can. And we're going to talk about just how they'll be able to do that on this edition of the Locked on Sun Devils podcast.
Are Locked on Sun Devils, your daily podcast on the Arizona State Sun Devils. Part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to this edition of the Locked on Sun Devils podcast. My name is Richie Bradshaw and I am your guide for everything Arizona State Sun Devils. Thank you guys, as always, for making us your first listen of the day. Remember, you can get this podcast free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. If you want to check us out in a visual platform, wherever you are listening or viewing your podcast, though, make sure that you hit like and subscribe and turn on those notifications so you get an update every time we post new content, which is Monday through Friday. Stay in touch with that content by following me on Twitter. You can find me at RichieBrad36, and you can find the podcast as well at LO_Sun Devils. But before we get started, I just want to thank our good friends over at LinkedIn Jobs for sponsoring this episode. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions, of course, will apply. Let's go ahead, take a look at this game. Early preview. Arizona State comes back home, winners of two of their last three, currently on a win streak, a one-game win streak, albeit, but currently winning, coming back home. The last time they were at home, they pulled off a very, very, very nice upset against the then ranked number 21 Washington Huskies. Now, this was a different Sun Devils team back then, but this feels like a better Sun Devils team. Alternatively, they're playing the UCLA Bruins this time around, and this is a better UCLA Bruins team than the Washington team that we played back then. A, UCLA beat Washington. B, UCLA is just a much better, more complete football team. They're currently the 12th ranked team in the nation. They are 7-1. They're first loss coming a couple weeks ago against Oregon in the tune of a 45-30 loss at home. They were in Eugene. They went to Oregon, lost the game 45-30. No shame, because Oregon looks like a potential playoff team this year. UCLA, very, very good. They're not going away. They're also going to be competing for the playoff. They just need a few things to go their way, and they need to win out. But obviously, Arizona State is going to want to play spoiler, and there is a way that they're able to do that. Now, I'm not going to be super boring and sit here and tell you that, oh, they just got to play perfect football and they got to score more points and it's going to be coming down to execution and this, that, and the other, right? No, that's boring. That's how you win every game. Perfect execution, perfect game plan, score more points, all of those things. No, instead, we're here to talk about the things that Arizona State needs to do in order to win this game. Little more substance here. What do I mean? Well, let's go ahead and just start the conversation with this. The first thing that Arizona State Sun Devils need to do is they need to be creative offensively. I have been typically stick to the book, be boring with your offense, run the football. Don't do it in this game. The only reason why I'm imploring this is because you have Trenton Bourguet. And because Trenton Bourguet is the starting quarterback moving forward, and he is a very good quarterback, I believe that you can finally take the reins off this offense a little bit. I think ASU did that last week against Colorado, and it worked. Now, when I say take the reins off, I'm not saying like start running gimmicky offenses. I'm not saying let's go triple option with tons of spread looks and wildcat formation and stuff like that. That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm saying is Arizona State has been pretty sheltered in what it's tried to do this year, for better or for worse. I think in this game, you should be a little more creative with what you want to do and not be shy about it. So with Trenton Bourguet, a quarterback who has yet to be sacked this year and has 2 interceptions, but other than that, is a pretty clean, decisive guy. He's not really sitting here running into sacks. He's not turning the ball over at an alarming rate. He's doing a lot more good than he is bad. Allow this guy a little more room to work in this offense. So spread it out the way that you did last week. Last week, what did you do? You incorporated the tight end. So let's get those tight ends back into this again. Let's see lots of Messiah Swenson. Let's see lots of Jalen Conyers, because the results that they gave you, whew, that is what I'm talking about. That's what you build off of. Performances like that. Those become concrete building blocks in what you're trying to construct moving forward. So keep those tight ends involved. Keep Trenton Bourguet at quarterback. Allow him to run the offense. You could tell there was a major shift in the way that Arizona State's offense was playing this past week. And I think it has a lot to do with Sean Aguano, because Aguano had said that he wanted to start incorporating the tight ends more. Sean Aguano said he wanted to open up the offense more. Sean Aguano moved on from Emory Jones to Trenton Bourguet at quarterback. So it's not a coincidence that everything is starting to work, right? When Sean Aguano says we're going to make changes and he makes changes and then things are working, yeah, that's what I would hope to see, and that's what we are seeing. So let's keep doing it. Let's keep figuring out what works, what doesn't work. There's no point in trying to be bland at this point. You are a 3-5 football team. There are 4 games left in the year. You need to basically win out if you want a chance to get to a bowl game this year. There's no in-betweens, really. So play like you have nothing to lose. Because honestly, do you really have anything to lose in this game? Sure, you get your 6th loss. So what? It feels like the expectations have been gone from this team for a while. So, in the famous words of Tim McGraw, live like you're dying. Live like you just have the world in the palm of your hands, right? But now flip the script and say, just play like you have nothing to lose. Because truly, the only thing you have to lose is the game. And it's not like the game is going to dictate whether or not you're playing Alabama in the playoff. You know? Play and have some fun, and don't be afraid to do some dumb things. Experiment. Be creative. Open up the offense. Don't do dumb stuff. When I say dumb, I mean like Philly specials and stuff like that. If you did it like once, I'd be okay with it. But don't get cute with your play calling. Have fun. Experiment a little bit. Just get out of your comfort zone, I think. To win this game, you're going to need to be more creative than UCLA. And UCLA is a creative and explosive offense with Chip Kelly calling the shots and Dorian Thompson-Robinson running the offense. You want to win this game, you're just going to have to be the more interesting team, I guess is a way to put it. I don't know. But what I do know is running a bland offense is not going to win you this game. What's going to win you this game is continuing the creativity that you've really started to incorporate recently. It's not a coincidence that the last 2 weeks, Elijah Badger started to come into the zone. It's not a coincidence that last week, the tight end started to get into it. It's not a coincidence that the running backs have been strong the entirety of the year. And it's certainly not a coincidence that Trenton Bourguet is running this offense better than Emory Jones. All of these things have something in common. And it's the strengths of the offense being allowed to explore themselves. So let's keep doing that. Let's keep exploring the offense, exploring all the different things that we can do with it. Let's also go ahead and hop into our first break. When we return, we'll pick it up with another thing that Arizona State needs to do in order to make sure that they win this football game. But first, I want to talk to you once again about our good friends over at LinkedIn. These days, every potential new hire feels like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team faster and for free. Make sure that if you're looking to build your small business, that you're doing your due diligence by going to LinkedIn right now. It's really easy to do. Go and create your free job post in minutes and then add the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. And there is nothing more important in building a small business than being able to get the right people for your team. LinkedIn helps you do that. It's why small businesses rank LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the quality candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions will apply. Make sure, if you guys have not already, to check out the Locked On Today podcast, or the Locked On Sports Today podcast. From the games that matter most to the biggest stories in sports, go beyond the scoreboard and beyond the scenes with local experts and insights only Locked On can provide. Locked On Sports Today, available on this app, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast. Back into our conversation now. The next thing that Arizona State needs to do here, defensively, just how do I put this to words? I feel like your best defensive performances this year have still had flaws to them. There hasn't really been any point where this defense has played completely perfect football. And that's where this becomes such an intriguing situation, is because UCLA is such a well-run team and they do so many things right. Their quarterback, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, has 17 touchdown passes against just 3 interceptions. He's got 5 more scores on the ground. They've scored 21 touchdowns on the ground. They have 19 touchdowns through the air. So this is a team that has scored 40 touchdowns offensively, just offensively. They're doing whatever they want to do. They got a running back named Zach Charbonnet. For my money, he is the best running back in the nation. But there's also some Pac-12 bias with that. He's averaging 7.5 yards a carry. He is going to eclipse 1,000 yards in this game. He's currently at 964. He's going to get it. You can go ahead and just mail that in as just a guarantee in this game. So when I look at this game and I'm trying to figure out what to do defensively, it's almost like a F it, we ball mentality that everyone jokes about. Is like, that's the thing. Like, how are you handling life? F it, we ball. That's kind of the way you need to approach this game. How are you going to stop UCLA? We don't know, but we're going to do it. Have that mentality. We're better than you. That's how you win this game defensively. You just need to believe that you're better than UCLA. Are you? No. But if you sit here and walk into Sun Devil Stadium coming off a win, returning home, and the last home game was an upset win, this is the kind of stuff that'll get the fans bought in. This is the kind of stuff that'll help turn the tides and swing everything in your favor again. That's how I want to see this defense play. I want to see this defense play like they feel like they're the best defense in the whole entire world. They're not. They're not even close. But that UCLA doesn't need to know that. UCLA doesn't need to know how much you've struggled this year in the scoring department. Let's see. How many games have you held teams under 30 points? You've done it 4 times this year, or under 40, or under 30, excuse me. You've done it twice this year. Once against Stanford, once against NAU. Every other game, teams have put up at least 30 points on you. You're not stopping anyone in the scoring department. You're not stopping UCLA in the scoring department. UCLA will get 30 easily. As long as your offense shows up and is able to keep pace. We just need some plays. Get a few sacks. Yes, I understand he hasn't been sacked a lot. Yes, I understand he hasn't turned the ball over a lot. Guess what? You have forced turnovers this year. Arizona State has 10 interceptions this season. They have had 9 interceptions. They have 9 interceptions this season. They have had an interception in every single game this year. They picked off some of the best that college football had to offer this year. They picked off Spencer Sanders. They picked off Michael Penix. They picked off Caleb Williams. Williams hadn't had an interception in 2022 prior to playing Arizona State. Go in with that same mentality that you've had. We are going to intercept Dorian Thompson-Robinson. We are going to sack Dorian Thompson-Robinson. We are going to force fumbles. We are going to make differences in this game. When you go in with a bully mentality, you'd be surprised how good you feel, right? It's sort of like you look good, you feel good, you play good, right? I want you to go into this game thinking you're the best. And I mean like obnoxiously thinking you're the best. Go in with that frat guy attitude. There's no one better than you. You're part of Sigma, Kappa, Phi, Beta, Omega. I don't know. And you're the best there is. That's what I want to see. I want to see you believe you're the best on the field. I want you to look across from you at a potential Heisman candidate in Dorian Thompson-Robinson and say, nah, not today. Today, you're turning the ball over. You're not scoring touchdowns on us. Maybe he does anyways, but those turnovers that you force are going to be huge. So how do you win this game defensively? Arrogance. You're better than them. For this game only, you are better than UCLA. Wear it like armor. Nobody can hurt you. One more break, and then when we get back, we're going to wrap everything up in a nice, tight little bun. But first, I want to talk to you about our friends over at BetOnline. BetOnline.net is still your number one source for betting football and the start of the new basketball season. Find all the latest player developments, team matchups, news, podcasts, and in-depth analysis on every game. And as always, BetOnline remains your continued source for your sports wagering information with live betting and up-to-the-minute scores for every sport out there. The fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite games and events, including the World Series, MMA, boxing, and golf. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the transaction happening right now at BetOnline, where the game starts. As always, thank you guys for making the Locked On Sun Devils your first listen of the day. Once again, make sure that you check out the Locked On Sports Today podcast, the biggest stories of the day, plus instant reactions, big game recaps, and the take of the day, available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. How do you win offensively? Be as obnoxiously creative as possible. How do you win defensively? Be as obnoxiously arrogant as possible. Put it all together. This is how Appalachian State beat Michigan all those years ago. This is how I can't think of any other massive upsets off the top of my head. Now, I'm talking like massive upsets. This is how those upsets happen. They go into the game and they say, for this night only, we're better. Do you think Eastern Michigan truly believed they were the better team going into that game against Arizona State? Probably not. But for that night, you're gosh darn right they did. And they were. For that night only, Eastern Michigan was better than Arizona State. And that's all that matters. They got that win. They got that check. Arizona State is not better than UCLA anywhere. There is not a single position. There's not a single spot in the front office. There is not a single spot on the coaching staff that is better than the UCLA Bruins football team. But for one night only, they will be. That's the mentality you need. We're better than you. I want you to look at UCLA like they're Wanda Maximoff and UCLA Bruins looks at you and they say, you took everything from me, and I want you, Arizona State. I want you, Arizona State Sun Devils, to be Thanos and look back and just say, as cold as possible, I don't even know who you are. As a famous Dr. Dre once said, you're so far under my radar, I don't even know who you are. Right? Go into it with that kind of arrogance. What is the worst that can happen? You'll lose the game? You can't be humbled. We have nothing but humility at this point. And humility is not going to win this game. Arrogance is going to win this game. This game is going to be won because you believe you're better than them. That's the bottom line here. You truly just need to be an absolute jerk for 60 minutes, maybe more, if necessary. You're better than UCLA for this game. You're the Kings. The Pac-12 is yours. This is your conference. This is your division. This is your state. It's Arizona State's. It's not UCLA's. This is our stadium. This is our city. This is our win that we're going to take. That's how you do it. You don't do it with clean execution. You're not. There will be turnovers in this game. You're not going to do it by pitching a shutout. You're not. You're going to give up a lot of points in this game. You do it because you look at UCLA and you say, anything you can do, I can do better. And you win that game 42-41. You win that game 50-49. You win that game 100-99. You do whatever you got to do. You play bully ball. You be jerks on the court. You're the Monstars. You be jerks. We're not friends with UCLA on Saturday night. In fact, by the end of it, I want to be in that press conference room after that win. And I want Sean Aguano to run up to the cameras after the win and go, and live from Tempe, it's Saturday night. That's how you win. That's how it works. You're better. Let's see if it works out for him. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it pays off for him. That'll wrap up this edition of the Locked On Sun Devils podcast. Thank you guys, as always, for making us your first listen of the day. Remember, wherever you're getting podcasts, including YouTube, if you want to check us out on the visual platform, to hit like and subscribe and turn on those notifications so you get an update whenever we post new content. To stay in touch with that content, go ahead and follow me on Twitter. You can find me at Richie Bradshaw36. You can find the podcast as well at LO_Sun Devils. Make sure that you are sticking around. Basketball is tipping off this upcoming Monday. Stick around as we cover basketball too for the remainder of the year. It's basketball and football, everything you need to know for Arizona State Sun Devil sports right here on the Locked On Sun Devils podcast. So until next time, you keep it locked right here on Locked On Sun Devils.